صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فاذكروني أذكركم واشكروا لي ولا تكفرون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة إن الله مع الصابرين. ولا تقولوا لمن يقتل في سبيل الله أموات.
به نام توانا دادگر که عالم از اوست، همان که انسان را مرد و زن آفرید، نه برای برتری از یکدیگر بلکه برای تکمیل همدیگر، تا بتوانند در پستی و بلندی ها و قله های دشوار زندگی با بالهای استوارتر پرواز کنند. به نام آن که گفت اقرا یعنی بخوان، نگفت مرد و یا زن. پس شما به من بگویید هموطن و همدردم، چگونه است که سالیان سال صاحبان جهل و خرافات میهن و مردمم را تقسیم به نژاد و مذاهب و به جنس زن و مرد کرده است. آره، برای اینکه کشور و مردمم را به تاریکی بیشتر فرو ببرد. برای این منظور از نظر آنها آن که باعث اندک روشنایی در میهنم گردد مثل هزاره ها باید از میان برداشته شود. و هزاره ها عنوان هدف آسان سالهای سال است که زن و مردش مورد قتل عام قرار می گیرد و در این اواخر بیشتر از گذشته، وحشتناکتر از گذشته و برحمانه‌تر از گذشته. در این چند سال اخیر ما شاهد هدف قرار گرفتن مردممان از جمله در ده مزن، جلریز، تبسم دختر 9 ساله‌ای که با چند تن دیگر توسط جلادان سر بریده بود، حمله بر مرکز آموزشی موعود، مکتب سیدالشهدا در دشت برچی، زایمانگاه و صدها مورد هدف قرار گرفتن دیگر در هر گوشه و کنار افغانستان و اخیراً هم مرکز آموزشی کاج. ما امروز گرد هم آمده ایم تا باشیم کنار خانواده های قربانیان و زخمه هایمان. آمده ایم تا صدایمان را به گوش جهانیان برسانیم که آیا این است رسم انسان دوستی؟ شمایی که کشورهای ابرقدرت دنیا هستید، مردم افغانستان را با تنها به دست ظالمان کردیل رها کردید و حالا در مقابل هر ظلم و ستمی که بالای مردم افغانستان به خصوص مردم هزاره صورت میگیرد سکوت اختیار کرده اید. کجا است این انسان دوست ما گرد هم آمده ایم تا یک بار دیگر دست به دست هم بدهیم و وحدتمان را اعلام کنیم و با هم فکری هم دیگر در جستجوی راه بهبودی برای سرنوشت مردممان در داخل افغانستان باشیم.
But first and foremost, why we've gathered here today, as our sister really said well in Farsi, we've gathered here today because once again we've become under systematic attack, under acts of genocide back in Kabul, Afghanistan, yet again. We've gathered here today because we are yet again being inflicted upon targeted killings, targeted genocide, and persecution that not only happens today but dates back to 300 years ago, where 60% of our population were exterminated under the Abdul Rahman Khan administration back then. That's 60% of Afghanistan's third largest ethnicity exterminated. And unfortunately, it does not just relate to history. Time and time again, we see in Afghanistan, especially now under the brutal Taliban regime, under the Taliban terrorists, we are becoming under attack. Recently, on Friday last week, an education center educating girls became under attack, where more than 50 of our young girls lost their lives and countless others injured. I ask you, I ask the international community, I ask everyone, what was their sin? What was their crime? Surely you have to lose your life for doing a crime. Their only crime was wanting education. Their only crime was wanting to go to school. And their only crime was being a Hazara. This is genocide. This is crimes against humanity. This is the worst possible act humans can do upon each other. We stand here today to show our strong condemnation of what has happened and our strong support and solidarity with all the families and all the friends of the 50 martyrs, the 50 shuhada who are grieving today. As you are standing here today, just think of the families of the friends that have lost loved ones, especially my sisters and the mothers that are here. They were like you. They lost their lives at an education center that I heard some of you may have even attended. Or if you didn't, you know someone that attended. This is real. This is what is going on in Afghanistan. And we call on the international community, starting by the government of New Zealand, to stand up and condemn and recognize Hazara genocide. We also stand here as a community, as one people, because that's the best way we can express ourselves. When something like that happens, we're all grieving, we're all hurting, but we're all in our homes. We need to come together, we need to express our sorrows, we need to express our pain, because only then we can move forward and find solutions. I want us to give chance. I will say every day, every night, you say it loudly, genocide, genocide. There are cameras here. The international community is watching us, including our own Hazara brothers and sisters around the world. Today is the biggest day of protests of Hazaras around the world. Let Christchurch, New Zealand be heard. I say every day, every night, you say genocide, genocide. Every day, every night.
Genocide, genocide.
Every day, every night.
Genocide, genocide.
Louder, let your voice be heard. Every day, every night.
Genocide, genocide.
Every day, every night.
Genocide, genocide.
Every day, every night.
Genocide, genocide.
Louder, every night, every day.
Genocide, genocide.
Every day, every night.
Genocide, genocide.
Thank you very much. And now we're pleased to have Mr. Patrick, who has been a very big supporter of our community right from the start. We really appreciate everything you do for us, Patrick, and we appreciate you being here today. So please, a round of applause for Mr. Patrick O'Connor.
Well, in Maori language, and I'm sure some of the little kids know some Maori words, kia ora and no mai, hana mai, no mai, which means welcome, welcome. And this place that we're standing in here today is a place where the spirit of protest, the spirit of what you're doing today, has been here for many, many reasons over many, many years. And those of us who have protested against bad things happening in the world have been here ourselves. And now it's such a joy, although that is not really the right word, to see you all here today, Hazara people, fighting for justice and love in your communities, which is just so fantastic. And again, in Maori language, there's a beautiful saying, and it goes, he tangata, he tangata, he tangata. And it means it is people, it is people, it is people. That the most important thing in the world is people. And your beautiful words, sir, you know, that you've just said are so strong. And I know that I myself am here today, and there's Alistair James here somewhere who works with your community, and Shirley Wright, the manager of CRS, is sitting over there, and Shirley has come along too. And I think Shirley and I know that if we found out a little bit earlier about this today, we probably would have been able to get many more Christchurch people to come along and support your cause. We do read and understand every day about the atrocities of the Taliban, not just in Kabul, but in many other places in Afghanistan. And last week, those 50 shahada that died, girls trying to have an education, was the most terrible things for us to learn about. You people have been fantastic in our city. I hope that we have welcomed you as much as we can, but we could do better. We can always do better. But your community have been fantastic in education and employment and all of these sorts of things. And you know, as I walk across here a little bit, all you children, learn your language, learn your culture, learn your religion, and learn all the nice things, so when you boys and girls are growing up, you can be the mayor of the city. You can be in the All Blacks if you like rugby. And you can do lots and lots of things. So kids, listen to mum and dad, hold on to your culture like a baby, like a little baby. Look after your culture, Hazara culture, Hazara language, Hazara food, Hazara religion, and everything about your life. And you will grow to be very interesting New Zealanders with 2 languages and 2 cultures and everything to celebrate. And I'm sorry, children, you won't all understand what happens back in your country at the moment in Afghanistan, but it's not good. So support mum and dad in their understanding of these terrible things that are happening. But I would really like, I can't speak on behalf of everybody in Christchurch, but I'd really love it if this is another occasion like this that we get more people out here to support you, because I know many people feel about the terrible things that are happening in Afghanistan. So, tasha ko everybody, be strong, kia kaha, another Maori word meaning be strong, kia kaha, all the best.
تشکر از آقای پاتریک که همدردیشان را با ما اعلام کردن و قبل از اینکه نفر دومی را دعوت کنیم شعار میدیم.
Thank you very much to Mr. Patrick O'Connor for those beautiful words, and again I thank you for being a great supporter of the community. And Mr. Patrick O'Connor is so very right. We need your help, we need everyone's help to raise awareness about the situation of Hazaras in Afghanistan, about the ongoing genocide, and we really need everyone on board. Before we invite the next speaker to the stage, we will give one more chant. I will say, stop Hazara genocide. You say, stop, stop, stop. Stop Hazara genocide.
Stop, stop, stop.
Stop Hazara genocide.
Stop, stop, stop.
Stop Stop Hazara Genocide.
Stop, stop, stop.
Louder. Stop Hazara Genocide.
Stop, stop, stop.
Everyone, stop Hazara Genocide.
Stop, stop, stop.
And now follow me. Stop Hazara Genocide.
Stop, stop, genocide.
Stop Hazara Genocide. Stop Hazara Genocide. Everyone say stop Hazara Genocide. Stop Hazara Genocide.
Stop Hazara genocide.
Stop Hazara Genocide.
Stop Hazara genocide.
Let the world hear your voice. Stop Hazara Genocide.
Stop Hazara genocide.
Stop Hazara Genocide.
Stop Hazara genocide.
Thank you very much.
اگر رسمی مروت در جهان نیست، اگر رسمی مروت در جهان نیست، اگر از مردمی نام و نشان نیست، مدان مسئول آن دوری زمان را، مدان مسئول آن دوری زمان را، گناه از ماست تقصیر از زمان نیست. در این قسمتی برنامه از پروین جان خواهش میکنم که در جایگاه تشریف بیارن و شعر خود را به سمع ما برساند. پروین جان، پروین کاوه.
We would like to invite to the stage our sister Parwin Kaur to come and speak to us. Miss Parwin Kaur. Stop Hazara Genocide.
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 Adalat, adalat.
Adalat, adalat.
Adalat, adalat.
Adalat, adalat.
Adalat, adalat.
Adalat, adalat.
Tashakkur.
Assalamu alaikum, kia ora, and good evening to everyone. My name is Parwin Kaur. I'm 16 years old and I'll be giving a short speech about the recent attack in Kabul, Afghanistan. On the 30th of October 2022, a suicide bomber blew himself up in the educational center in Kabul, where there were more than a couple of hundred young people, mainly Hazara female students, who were sitting their exam early in the morning. The blast took place at Kaj Educational Center in western Kabul in a predominantly Hazara neighborhood. The blast killed more than 52 people and more than 80 people were injured. Not only the majority of the people affected by this attack were young women, but they were also Hazara, all between the ages of 18 to 25. Those girls had gone to school that day to sit their practice university entrance exam, unaware of what would happen during the exam. They showed up to school that day unaware that they would be severely injured and some would even lose their lives. They showed up to school unaware that they would be targeted. The reason for it being just solely based on the fact that they were Hazaras. Who were Hazaras? Well, Hazaras are the minority group of Afghanistan who have faced long violence and oppression for more than a century, once making almost 2/3 of the population, and now the population unknown after years and years of violent hatred towards Hazaras. As a young Hazara girl who has grown up in New Zealand and hasn't been to my home country for more than 10 years, reading news and seeing about these attacks on the helpless Hazara girls breaks, especially because all of the bright future and the dreams of the young Hazara girls are crushed as they are targeted over and over again.
Cousins, sisters, friends, all losing each other. And you read one of the young girl's diary, someone who lost their life. She wanted to go to Paris. She wanted to one day walk in the park like we do every day. She wanted to ride a bicycle. She wanted to eat an ice cream. And she wanted to visit the world's most beautiful countries. Did you see that diary or not? Hands up if you did. The diary of the young girl. In 1 minute of silence, I want you to keep her and all the shahadat in your mind. 3, 2, 1, thank you. Thank you very much. May all the Shuhada rest in peace, and may they never be forgotten. May their blood never be wasted. May this be the start of something historic. Let this be the start of something historic that can happen, that can start right here from Christchurch. Thank you very much. Shirley Wright, do you, Alistair, any one of you would like to have a few words with us, voluntarily if you're okay? We would like to invite Shirley Wright, who has been another great support of our community, as she arrives here every day, every night.
Genocide, genocide.
Every day, every night.
Genocide, genocide.
Thank you very much, and I'll pass on to Shirley Wright.
Kia ora koutou, thank you for the opportunity to speak to you all. It's heartbreaking. I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, I'm a daughter, I'm a cousin, and my heart is with all of those families in Afghanistan and with all of you and all Hazara around the world, because this should never happen. This should never happen. It needs to stop right now. So I don't want to say anything more. I'm feeling very emotional, but I really appreciate the opportunity to be here with you and stand alongside you and show our love and support to the Hazara community that's settled so well in Christchurch. And all these beautiful children. Beautiful, beautiful children. So, you know, you have the right to be safe wherever you are, as does anybody else in the world. So, my love to you all.
Gun, they choose pen and paper, and that's the only crime they committed. And they are getting killed in the education center just because being there, just being looking for getting education, because darkness is scared of light. The Hazara have a long story of persecution in Afghanistan. In fact, the name of Afghanistan came in place by persecution, an ethnic cleansing of tribes, mainly Hazaras. The Afghan are one of the main ethnicities in Afghanistan. The Afghan name came in place by forced killing other, especially Hazaras. Hazaras are the most persecuted people in Afghanistan and over a century and all over the world. They are also the largest party in favor of his own Pashtun tribe and distributed among his own people, which is a common practice till today for over a century, followed by any other government, even a democratic government supported by worldwide organization in countries. He ordered the coaches to confiscate Hazara's land and properties. He drew and patterned on awful rules that even enforced today. Hazaras are forced to conceal their identity, with lots of Hazaras forced to change their religion from Shia group to Sunni group to be a bit safer. Yet this isn't enough to keep them safe, as they are still get killed just because of their ethnicity and physical appearance. The Hazaras still get killed today, their houses burned, and their properties looted by Pashtun coaches who have the support of the government, every single government. The Taliban killed over 2,000 Hazaras in Mazar-e-Sharif in 1998 in just 3 days. 2,000 people in 3 days, and banned food supply in the Hazara region and let them die from hunger. Till today, at least 40,000 Hazara people are killed by Taliban in their villages on the way while they are traveling from one region to another. And they are gathering like mosques, schools, hospitals, colleges, universities. So Hazaras are not safe anywhere. The Taliban goes from house to houses looking for Hazaras and gun them down in front of their families and young children. Hazaras are discriminated against by Afghan institutions systematically. They have been targeted over their hard-earned success in education, sport, politics, and their progressive and democratic ideas. Hazara's culture promotes democratic values, social liberalism, and progressive thinking. And that's why we get killed. The Hazaras are so desperate to protect themselves, and because the government, they are left no choice, but they help to support any democratic government. Since the collapse of the late government in Afghanistan, they are the main target for supporting the previous government. Even the government didn't do anything for Hazara's favor. The Hazaras are not only getting killed randomly, but they are stopped, selected, separated, and then get killed, which is clearly ethnic cleansing, an act of genocide. We are gathered here today to raise our voice against the brutal regime of Taliban, who don't believe in any human values and rights, such as human rights, women's rights, freedom of speech, and any other democratic values. So the mainstream media trying to not blame the Taliban. So they put the blame on ISIS. But the people of Afghanistan thinks or believes that the Taliban and ISIS, they are the same thing. There is no difference between the Taliban and the ISIS.
پر درد است که هر کسی که در تاریخ هزاره نظاره کند قلبش به درد می آید.
Thank you to Mr. Gulami for giving a very detailed outline of what has happened to Hazaras in the past, what is continuing to happen to Hazaras now, and if we don't act, what will continue to happen to Hazaras in the future. So thank you again. We will give one more chance, Shigar Midahim, before we invite the next speaker. I will say, what was their crime? You say 3 times. Education, education, education. 3 times. What was their crime? Education, education, education. What was their crime?
Education, education, education.
What was their crime?
Education, education, education.
Let the world hear your voice today. What was their crime?
Education, education, education.
What was their crime?
Education, education, education.
Hazaras are not safe. Genocide, genocide. Hazaras are not safe.
Genocide, genocide.
Hazaras are not safe.
Genocide, genocide.
Every day, every night.
Genocide, genocide.
Every day, every night.
Genocide, genocide.
Lara, every day, every night.
Genocide, genocide.
Thank you very much. Leading on from Mr. Gulami's speech, which he spoke about genocide and ethnic cleansing, I would like to speak about what is genocide. Why are we standing here claiming that Hazaras are being threatened as act of genocide, and why genocide is happening against them? The United Nations has a formal definition of genocide. If you have been to oppression, we will say no to genocide. We will put a stop to this, and that's why we're being targeted at schools. That's why they blow up college center. That's why they're targeting hospitals, universities, mosques, sports clubs, and everywhere they find us, they target us.
متاعی نیست آزادی که ما را ارمغان بخشد. متاعی نیست آزادی که ما را ارمغان بخشد. به روزی عید یاران یا کسی از آسمان بخشد. به زوری مشت خود باید تو این نعمت به کف آری. به زوری مشت خود باید تو این نعمت به کف آری که بر آزادگان داغی اثار سخت نمگین است. حالا از خانم راضیه عظیمی تقاضا میکنیم که روی استیج بیاید و خانم راضیه در آموزشگاه موعود بوده که در روز انفجار
شمسی علیزاده. نام کورس ما کاج بود. از استاد مختار مدبر سوال کردیم استاد کاج به چه معناست؟ او گفت کاج درخت است که همیشه سبز و استوار میماند. و ما قانع شدیم و قبول کردیم که زیر نام کاج ادامه بدهیم. با هم قول داده بودیم که کاج ما را به بلندای علم و معرفت برسانیم، اما قاتلان علم و معرفت، قاتلان مردم هزاره این بار کاج ما را سر بریدند. 57 برای مردم هزاره یک عدد نیست. 57 گلهای پرپر شده و دردانه های مادران هزاره است. لطفاً از کنار این 57 همینطور ساده و بیخیال نگذاریم. بیایید به هم تعهد بسپاریم که دیگر در مقابل هیچ نوع ظلم، جنایات و نسل کشی هزاره سکوت نمی کنیم. و سلام علیکم و رحمت الله و برکاته. برای شادی روح شهدا صلوات.
تشکر از رازیه عظیمی. آره، این است زندگی مردمی ما داخل افغانستان. شاید در بین ما خیلی ها مثل رازیه جان باشند، از جمله خودم که یکی از فامیلی ما دامن کورس موعود بود که متاسفانه چشمش از دست داده و از چندین کسان دیگه. مامای عزیزم را پارسال در جنگ از دست دادم و همچنان یکی از اقارب نزدیک من را چند سال پیش از دست دادیم، احمد شریف دارالشاهی را.
Thank you to our sister Razia Azimi. I have a lot of respect for our sister like Razia and all our sisters in Kabul that are being so brave and trying to attend school, which is so difficult. I grew up in New Zealand and I had the privilege and the luxury of attending school and university so easily and without the fear of my life, without the fear of my family's life, without the fear of turning up to school one day and losing my life. So I have a lot of respect for you, sister. I have a lot of respect for all our sisters, Hazara sisters in Afghanistan and Kabul that are day by day attending schools, attending universities with the risk of losing their life. And as Sister Razia very well said in Farsi, that it makes them even stronger. It doesn't break them, it doesn't weak them, it makes them stronger. And that's what determines me as well. The fact that I have so much freedom in New Zealand, it determines me to fight for them, to continue raising my voice, to continue fighting for them, because they don't have a voice. It's up to us to be the voice for the voiceless. Thank you very much. I would say, what was their crime? You say education, education, education. What was their crime?
Education, education.
Education. What was their crime?
Education, education, education.
Balan, Khaharan, Balan, Baradran. What was their crime?
Education, education, education.
What was their crime?
Education, education, education.
Hazaras are not safe.
Genocide, genocide.
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 Thank you very much.
در این قسمت برنامه از آقای اکبری خواهش میکنم که در جایگاه تشریف آورده و ما را از سخنان گوهر.
آیا دختران کاج غیر از این که میخواستن علم بیاموزند تا برای همان خراب شده به نام افغانستان خدمتگزار باشد خیانت دیگر کرده بودند؟ شما بگویید گناه ما چی هست؟ نمیدانم هموطن، نمیدانم خواهرم و برادرم، دیلی پر درد و گلویی پر عقده دارم. صلوات ختم فرمایید. من امروز نه به عنوان یک سخنران، نه به عنوان سخنور، بلکه به عنوان یک برادر شما، خواهرم و برادرم، در پیش شمایم به عنوان درد دل، فقط به عنوان یک درد دل با هم روبرو و صحبت و جر و بحث میکنیم. چرا؟ تا شاید بتوانیم راه بیرون رفت به اندازه وسع و توانمان برای این ذلت تاریخی دیگر پیدا کنیم. شما بگویید تا کی باید ادامه پیدا کند؟ تا کی ما باید بمیریم بدون هیچ دلیلی؟ تا به کی؟ آیا 100 سال بس نیست؟ چرا بس است دیگر وقت ایستادن است هموطن، خواهرم و برادرم. آری من سخنانم را امروز به 3 قسمت تقسیم کردم. در مرحله اول سپاس خدای تعالی، خدایی که به انسانها عقل و شعور عطا کرد، خدایی که به ما درایت داد تا بیاموزیم و صاحب عقل و درایت باشیم. تنها دلیلی که خدای بزرگ ما را معاونش در روی کره زمین قرار داد به خاطر عقل و شعور ماست. اما جناوران دوپایی به نام انسان که در افغانستان وجود دارد، آنان از عقل و شعور بی بهره و آنان بر علیه عقل و شعور و انسانیتند. تنها جرم ما و تنها دلیل مردن ما این است. آری چند روز پیش 2 تایش در تلویزیون، نمیدانم یکش معاونی امر به معروف بود و دیگرش نمیدانم چی کارا ایسانیک زید، بحث داشتن آیا علم مباح است یا تبدیل به برده میشویم. اگر علم وجود نداشته باشد، امروز روی سخنم به جوانان پشتون است. برادرم، خواهرم، جوانان پشتون، من گلایه‌ای از شما ندارم. چرا؟ اما شما رو مقصر، هیچ فرد هزاره تک تک جوانان شما رو مقصر نمیدان. اما ما شما میپرسم چیز مشکلاتی در فرهنگ شما وجود دارد که چنین هیولاهایی از فرهنگ شما به وجود میآید؟ چگونه است وقتی قتل عام شدیم 60% ما به بازارها فروخته شدیم، بسیتون نبود؟ ولی تو مقصر نیستی. ملتی غریب و فقیر پشتون هم درد ماست. اما چگونه هست که از میان شما چنین هیولاهایی به وجود میآید؟ چگونه هست؟ حتما وقتی این فرا رسیده است که خود شما باید فکر به حال کلچر و فرهنگتان کنید و از فکر پشتونوالی بدرایید. در ولایت تخار بیش از صدها خانواده تاجیک و ازبک را از خانه‌اش چند روز بیرون کردند، به جایش کوچی جا به جا. آیا اگر آنها گفتند برادری پشتون این کار زشت است، ما میشویم افغان، دیگر افغان نیستیم، ما میشویم فلان یا بسان؟ نه برادرم، مشکل از ملت‌های دیگری افغانستان نیست. مشکل
Well, the answer is simple, yet so sad. Every human being in this world belongs to a certain ethnicity or nationality. For example, Mr. Park is a Kiwi. But in this world, unfortunately, if you belong to Hazara ethnicity, you're killed, you're facing discrimination, and you're abused.
با عرض سلام و درود خدمت خواهران و برادران گرامی، ابراز همدردی دارم با خانواده شهدا و تشکر ویژه دارم از شما عزیزان که در اینجا تشریف آوردید. خدا زیاد کند اجر دین دنیاتان و مستجاب شود باقی دعاهاتان. آتش گرفته این دل مانند قلب برچی، آتش گرفته در خود دیگر نمانده هیچی. این جاهلان بیدین، این رهزنان بیشرم، هر روز نخبگان را کردند ز شهر سرچی. دیروز مادری گفت بر نعش دختری خود، دار و ندار رفتی دیگر نمانده هیچی.
یکی جنبه داخلی خود هزاره ها و دیگری جنبه بیرونی دشمن. همه قسمی که ما میخواهیم علیه دشمنان، علیه آنانی که این نسل کشی را برا می اندازد باید مبارزه کرد. باید علیه عوامل داخلی که زمینه را برای آنها فراهم می کند نیز سخن گفت و آن را تدعیم کرد و آن را از آن آگاهی یافت. یکی از عوامل داخلی که منجر به چنین فجایعی می شود و هزاره ها را مساعد ساخته تا بیشتر قربانی شود، تابوهای سیاسی و اجتماعی است. اگر بخواهیم در رابطه با تابوهای سیاسی هزاره سخن بگوییم فرصت نیست. اما این را باید بدانیم که این گونه جمع شدنها بسیار اهمیت دارد. به خاطر اینکه بدانیم اهمیت این گونه جمع شدنها، شعار دادنها، اعتراضها در چیست، به یک قصه 50 سال قبل اشاره می کنم و بس. آقایانی که هم سن و سال من هستند و بالای 50 سال عمر دارند به خاطر دارند که در دهه 50 یک بار شایعه شد که ظاهرشاه آخرین پادشاه افغانستان شیعه شده است. شاید بعضی دوستا به خاطر داشته باشد چنین شایعه را که ظاهرشاه پادشاه افغانستان شیعه شده است. این شایعه بود تا اینکه فرصت پیش آمد و در کابل رفتن این شایعه را مورد تحقیق و بررسی. ظاهرشاه سخن گفته بود، بناهن سازمان ملل بر ظاهرشاه فشار آورده بود یا تبعیض و ستم را بر هزارها باید کم کنی یا اینکه موقعیت و جایگاه حکومت افغانستان در سطح بین الملل مورد سؤال قرار گرفت. به همین خاطر بود که ظاهرشاه به خاطر اینکه از چنگ سازمان ملل و اعتراض جهانی جان را نجات دهد در مراسم تاسوعا و عاشورای شیعیان کابل شرکت کرده بود. در چنین مراسم ها شرکت می کرد تا به ظاهر نشان دهد که ما تبعیض نداریم. به همین خاطر این شایعه در سراسر افغانستان در میان شیعیان و هزارها این شایعه ایجاد شد که ظاهرشاه شیعه شده است. حالا در چنین شرایط هولناک که انتحار و انفجار و دشمنان هزاره تصمیم گرفتند که یا هزاره را به صورت کلی و یا به صورت جزئی از صحنه جغرافیای افغانستان حذف کند، یکی از راه‌ها این است همان گونه که عرض شد باید بر علیه تابوهایی که ما را مانع این چنین حرکات می شود مبارزه کرد و دیگر این که همون قسمی که آقای عطایی لحظات قبل گفت باید این گونه مجالیس، این گونه گرد همایی ها ادامه یابد.
من فقط قطعنامه‌ای که چی خواهش‌های ما از حساب از دولت نیازمند و جامعه بین‌المللی داریم امور خدمت شما بیان میکنم به زبان انگلیسی.
On October the 1st, 2022, amid the attack on Hazara students
preparing for university entry exams in a packed hall in Kabul, Dashtibarchi neighborhood, killed over 50 Muslim female members of the Hazara ethnic group. The Hazara Kiwi communities are utterly horrified and shocked by the loss of our innocent sisters and brothers. Afghanistan Hazaras have been targeted for years by the ISIS branch in the country. You Hazaras as heretics. We consider the ongoing systematic attack against our community as acts of genocide against Hazaras. We are one of the 4 largest but most oppressed ethnic groups in Afghanistan. There have been nearly 300 attacks since 2022. These attacks have a long history. In the 1890s, the Hazaras faced genocide, slavery, and massive depopulation that killed 60% of Hazaras. Under the Taliban in the 1990s, Hazaras were victims of at least 9 genocidal massacres. The Taliban massacred between 2,000 and 15,000 Hazaras in Mazar-e-Sharif in 1998. The Taliban massacred hundreds more Hazaras at Bamiyan when they blew up their Sun Buddhas. The Taliban also targeted the Hazaras during the Taliban insurgency under the former Republic government. None of the crimes carried out against Hazaras have been investigated. None of the perpetrators have been arrested or brought to justice. No compensation for victims and their families has been paid. We believe the current situation is a continuation of the systematic discrimination against Hazaras in Afghanistan, which goes beyond the provision of security. The indifference to Hazaras security, along with systematic discrimination against Hazaras under the current terrorist regime, have raised concerns about the current and future status of Hazaras in Afghanistan. Unfortunately, Sansa's acts of hatred against the Hazara are not new, but they have increased at all levels and becoming even more serious. Although the recent attack has been condemned widely by various international organizations and human rights activists and political figures around the world, condemnation without action does not ultimately guarantee changing the dire situation of Hazaras of Afghanistan. Accordingly, we, the demonstrators, call upon the international organizations, the United Nations, the UN Security Council, NATO member states, the independent democratic states of the world, and most importantly, the governing parties, political figures, and people of New Zealand to urgently demand the following. Recognizing the attacks as genocide and the special situation and vulnerability of Hazaras. There have been numerous incidents of massacres, most of which have been reflected in the international media. However, none of them individually or collectively have yet been recognized by international communities as a genocide. This has put the Hazaras in a miserable state and has added to their ongoing pains and sorrows. A recognition will highlight the issues and oblige the international communities to protect the Hazaras and hopefully stop the systematic atrocities. Number 2, most importantly, we demand the UN, human rights organizations and journalists to recognize that systematic attacks against Hazaras in Afghanistan fulfill the definition of genocide. The international destruction of a substantial part of an ethnic and religious group. Number 3, offering immediate solid protection of Hazaras in Afghanistan by the international community and organizations. Because of their ethnicity, religious affiliation, relatively small population and particular geographical location, the Hazaras are an easy target for terrorist groups. Hence, taking immediate protective measures is a humanitarian obligation. Number 4, the UN and human rights organizations must conduct a comprehensive investigation and fact-finding of the recent terrorist attacks on the Hazaras. Number 5, the UN and international community should initiate urgent consultations with Hazara organizations on practical actions for the protection of Hazaras in Afghanistan. Number 6, the International Criminal Court must open investigations of the atrocities against the Hazara people and should initiate cases against perpetrators for genocide and crimes against humanity. Number 7, the US and international communities must compensate the victims of their families and their families from the frozen cash of more than $7 billion, which belongs to the people of Afghanistan. Number 8, lastly, we demand the New Zealand government to fulfill its obligations to the people of Afghanistan, especially Hazaras. We appreciate and recognize the sacrifice made by the New Zealand Army Forces in Afghanistan. However, its obligations as an independent state of the world remains valid. As the Hazara Kiwi community, we request the New Zealand government to raise concerns regarding the massacres and systematic discrimination against Hazaras of Afghanistan with its international partners. Thanks for your time. Thank you.